I was standing at a bus stop when a man on a sport bike, strong build, wearing a leather jacket and pants like all bikers usually look like, when he took off his helmet, I saw his still attractive face with thin lips, straight nose, and surprising depth of eyes, slight unshavenness complemented by a small amount of gray hair covering the temples. He smiled at me and something inside me responded to that smile. Thus began this life story. I'm more used to being called Max. Your mother called and asked to pick you up from the bus stop. The bus I was going to go to my father and mother broke down. I tried in vain to catch a hitchhiker. Finally dialed my mother's number with a request to help me get there. Her husband Fyodor had already been drinking, so my father-in-law took it upon himself to get me to my destination. He handed me a helmet, invited me to sit behind it. Honestly, I had long dreamed of riding such a motorcycle, and the universe heard me the fact that there was an experienced one nearby. I easily jumped on the bike, put on a helmet and put my arms around my companion. Language did not turn to call him Max. He looked older than 50. My mother told me that my father's parents separated when he was 2 years old. My mother gave birth to him at 20. My father was then only 18. It is clear, Maxim Vladimirovich never found a new wife. Maxim Vladimirovich was interested in Rax music and motorcycles, and it seems that this way of life suited him fine. He kept a couple of mechanical workshops in town, which brought him a good income. As we rode down the highway, I could smell his unique scent of gasoline, leather mixed with expensive perfume. I hugged him tightly with my palms, feeling his muscles tense in a way I had never experienced before. I pressed myself tighter against his back, catching the pleasant moment. We drove quickly to the dacha. Fyodor offered to stay, but he said he had important things to do, and for some reason I felt sad that he was leaving. I involuntarily choked, feeling the strength of his handshake. Oh yes, you are the very tenderness. Laughed. He let go of my fingers. Well, nothing while I teach you the right way to shake hands. With these words he started the motorcycle, put on a helmet and disappeared behind the gate. You think I shook hands wrong? I'm a man. I took offense at his remark. I started my vacation, which I was going to spend with my mother and stepfather at the dacha. Fresh air, river, availability of a good cafe with a disco nearby. What else do you need in summer? On Friday I invited my friend to spend time with me and to go. Marinka did not hesitate a minute. Putting on a shorter dress, we moved towards the adventure. In the middle of the evening to the cafe came a few motorcycles. Men and women dressed in black leather jackets occupied a large table near us. We with Marinka already drank a lot and managed to attract the attention of a couple of handsome guys. Suddenly among the bikers I saw a familiar face. It was Maxim Vladimirovich. He was sitting with a bottle of soft drinks and seems to have noticed me too. I really wanted to show him myself, as they say, in all its glory. I was very happy to show him. I found nothing better than to continue dirty dancing with a new acquaintance. His hands began to slide on the soft, trying to pull up the dress. I cut through each attempt, returning the hem back in place, but this further disarmed the guy. He began to openly explore my body, not shying away from the people. When his palm dived between my legs, I sharply pushed him away. He grabbed my arm and dragged me away. Marinka tried to stop him, but the guy's friend blocked her way. A few seconds later I found myself on the street in the company of an angry man. You thought it would be so easy to get rid of me. I see what you want. Now we'll get in my car and you'll get the full program, he shouted and dragged me towards the parking lot. My heart was racing. I begged him to stop and apologized for his rudeness, but alcohol and lust took over. Suddenly the door of the cafe opened. On the threshold I saw Maxim Vladimirovich. He managed to catch up with us and snatch me from the hands of the guy. Hey grandpa, what are you doing here? Shouted to him. Guy, do not interfere with our fun. Girl clearly does not share. Or didn't you notice? Maxim Vladimirovich replied demurely, leave her alone or I'll do it to you. I wiped off my sweat and mascara, hailed Marinka a cab and got on my motorcycle to go home. I didn't feel like going home at all, but I asked my father-in-law to ride with me and he said, let's go for a ride. I want to forget this terrible incident, I said. He agreed and took me to a special place. It turned out to be a slope overlooking the river. We stopped and dismounted. The view was amazing. For a few minutes I stood as if mesmerized. I didn't want to say anything. I felt his jacket on my shoulders became so warm and cozy. Turning around I pressed myself against him. I was crying from strong alcohol and stress. Maxim Vladimirovich tenderly embraced me, stroking my hair. His heart was beating loudly and it seemed to me that somewhere I began to melt and I wanted his palms to go lower, but I could not even say it out loud. Eventually he pulled away and suggested we go home and finish our cookies. Grandpa was staying with us at the cottage for the night. His room was next to mine because of the heat, and I couldn't sleep for a long time in my pajamas, which consisted of a top and short shorts. I went downstairs for some lemonade. The light of the moon illuminated the kitchen. I took the bottle, and as I closed the refrigerator door, Maxim suddenly appeared in front of me. I was startled. I wondered if he was wearing shorts with a bare torso. So I was more embarrassed not even by his presence, but by his appearance. I answered. His eyes traveled downward, studying my outfit. Nice pajamas. Looks good on you. He made a joke. I tried to walk past him, but I hit his chest and the fire was already blazing below. I realized what was happening to me. Why I was drawn to a man. I looked up at him and waited to see what would happen next. But my hopes for a passionate kiss were not realized. With an unchanging smile, Maxim Vladimirovich let me pass, opened the refrigerator, and I went upstairs and fell on the bed. Shit. What an idiot. It's not like he's crazy enough to reciprocate. I berated myself. I didn't fall asleep until the next morning. My mom said that she and Fedor would go to a friend's house for a couple of days, and my grandfather would look after me. I tried to refuse the supervision, explaining that I could manage on my own. But they wouldn't listen to me all day. I tried to avoid communicating with Maxim Vladimirovich. I understood my desires. In the evening I decided to swim in the pool and go to the sauna. I didn't notice how I fell asleep. I was woken up by Maxim Vladimirovich's loud voice. Asya. Wake up. Wake up. He slapped my cheeks, bringing me to my senses. What the hell are you doing? Oh, thank God. I was just about to call an ambulance. You've been gone for 30 minutes. I realized something and tried to get up, but I staggered. Grandpa picked me up in his arms and whistled me into the hallway. I was embarrassed because I was only wearing a stiletto heel. He sat me down on the sofa, gave me a glass of water and a small towel. But there was nothing to do. I threw it on and sat down next to him. I'm sorry, I'm so uncomfortable. I didn't think I would lose my temper. I started to make excuses. Maxim sat opposite me and carefully looked me straight in the eyes. His look seemed strange to me, as if he was talking about something. Secret. I was even more scared, not for you, but for myself. When I saw you in such a state, he suddenly said. I took it as a call to action and threw in the towel. I didn't think it would turn out like that, but it turned out to be mutual. Already in a couple of hours we were riding with him on a motorcycle towards the sunset.